Two.
And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live, another Facebook Live. We are very fortunate, as you can see, the man to my right, Mr. Isaiah Wright, from the positive energy vortex of the universe, Sedona, Arizona.
Like I'm on a game show.
Well, welcome. Okay, young and full of energy. I love it. Positive attitude. I see your videos. Tell us a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, and all that good stuff, please.
So my name is Isaiah Wright, for those who have not met me yet and who I have not had the pleasure of meeting. From the Verde Valley, currently based out of Sedona, Arizona. You can call me Mr. Arizona, though. That's what I'm going for. Um, I've been doing this since I've had my license hung with Berkshire since March 1st of last year. So it has been 546 days to the date practicing real estate in the Wild West. Wild, Wild West.
In the
And it's
wild, wild west of Sedona, Arizona. I love it.
It's rodeo, I'll tell you that.
It is an amazing place. You can feel the positive energy as you drive up and get to the first rotary.
Oh, you know it, man. You know it.
What is it, like 17 in a row there? What's up with that?
No, 18. We got a couple extra on the back end of town. Yeah, the roundabouts, those are fun. They put the tourists through it, literally and figuratively.
Yes, exactly. And so the traffic and back. I remember when we first opened that office there, I fell in love with it my first time up there. So I took Tina up for a weekend. We've been there a couple weekends. It's a great place to go for a weekend. The views, the hiking, everything. But selling real estate must be a hoot too, right?
Oh, dude, it's a dream. But wait, hold on. Only 2 days? You only want to come here for 2 days? Come on, Rick.
Well, I am the poster child for ADHD. I can do a lot in 2 days.
Fair enough. Yeah, you can. I see you moving and grooving, speaking and baking all the time. Don't stop.
Well, tell us how I know because I see your videos, you got cutting edge videos, you enjoy, tell us a little about how you do that, how you work your social media, because I think they'd love to hear that from you.
I appreciate that. And also, I forgot, I just skipped right on over, started talking about roundabouts, which are always easy to take the attention. But thank you, first and foremost, for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity. Um, so, as far as, geez, my videos, that is a one-man operation. That is just me on my phone capturing clips as they're unfolding. I try and keep things real time, just capture moments and then find ways to stitch them all together. I've got no idea what I'm doing before each video starts. It's just kind of somewhat fly by the seat of the pants. Maybe I've got a song in mind and I've got an idea of how things might transition and get chopped up throughout. But honestly, I just try to capture quality content on the fly as I go. And I got faith that, hopefully I'll find a way to bring it together. And most of the time it happens, but it's a work in progress, but they've definitely been getting better and they get a lot of positive feedback and engagement. So something that I'm going to lean more heavily into in the coming weeks, months, year. I want that to be a staple for sure. It seems to be just a real strong suit.
Right. Well, you can tell you have fun doing them, and I think that's the most important. You
Yeah.
enjoy, they come across really well, and you do some stuff that not a lot of people will do, like that one you were skipping in and skipping all over the place. That was great. I love that one. Tell them about
Yeah.
that one. Tell 'em what you did there. I love that one.
So that one, funny backstory. I was at an open house in Cottonwood, actually, or Cornville, just outside the outskirts of Sedona. And so it was a relatively slow open house that day. I mean, I had people trickling in, but I had this one lull period. And for some reason, just this song popped in my head, and it's this real groovy kind of not chicken picking style song. It was a John Mayer jam. And I was just thinking to myself, you know what would be really funny and stupid if I just started skipping through this entire house from different angles. And I just tried to use entertainment to show off the entire space because it's not traditional by any means. It's a little unorthodox, but hey, might get the job done, might be funny. And so I spent, an hour just in between, sorry about that, an hour in between people coming in, just grabbing different clips. And I stitched it all together. And I remember I had another agent call me midway through and I'm on the phone with them. Like, what are you up to? I'm like, I'm at this open house and I'm working on this, like the dumbest video. It is absolutely like, it's ridiculous is what it is. But I stitched it all together. I posted it, and if you haven't seen it, you should go back. I'll repost it at this point in time. It's funny. It
Yeah,
actually just had its one anniversary earlier this month. Woo woo. And well, I shared that, and then Troy ended up posting it on his Facebook, and it just got a really good amount of traction within the company, to the point where I went down to the Sunshine Kids golf tournament a couple months later, and I was on like hole number 6, and some gal walks up and she's like, "Hey, are you that skipping guy?" I'm like, "Shoot, I guess I am." Like, yeah,
That's
yeah,
your name, the
sure.
skipping guy. I love it.
So yeah, it just kind of came together, and people responded to it. So it was funny, definitely different.
Well, it's great. Like I'll do social media, and the most comments, and I do a lot of content about coaching and selling and positive mental attitude. No one ever mentions
Mhm.
those. I always mention when I have my wife on there, or I'm on vacation, or something to do with my music, or whatever.
Mhm.
And so you got to
Jam.
put on there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
So
unique.
yeah, the more unique, the better, and the more they can tell that you got outside your comfort zone or did something a little cutting edge, the more they and you guys have such a great, Patrick's done such a great job of. You guys have such a great close knit there, right from Nizreen all the way down. All you guys are all doing great stuff. Your numbers are going up. It must be fun being part of that group.
It is fun. It's just every single day, it's like a constant mastermind, is what I feel like. And I've had the pleasure of being invited into another mastermind in the Kierland office. But honestly, I feel like every single day that I'm actively practicing, I'm doing this full time. Every single day is just an opportunity to learn and grow. I'm often the youngest in the room, and kind of the lowest on the totem pole, which is a great place to be, in my opinion, because things are coming together and a lot from the best of the business. So I'm where I need to be. Exactly. Right place, right time.
Right.
Am I coming through already? Getting all pixelated. I'm stuck in the ether.
It might just be the internet that you're on. That's probably what it is, more than likely, because all of a sudden you got a little pixelated, but we can still hear you. Paul, is that his side? What do you think? Or
I'm getting lost in the matrix.
Yeah, it's the
I
internet.
still have full connection this end.
huh? So Isaiah, we'll wait for you. Hang up and just dial back in. Maybe it'll cure it. And I'll
Hang up and dial back in.
yeah, that's what I would do. And hopefully it'll solve
All
the
right.
problem. That's the only thing. That's my technical.
All right.
The extent of my technicality, I can help you with.
All right. Well, I'll.
There we go. So while he's gone, ladies and gentlemen, we'll just give him a second. He'll be right back in. You can go to his Instagram, Isaiah Wright, or his Facebook, and check out some of the stuff he's doing, because he's in a group of people that are doing a lot of great stuff on social media. And for me, dinosaur, I've been doing this 39 years. Social media is the newest part. So when I can get some help with people and so forth, I think it's great. All right, he's back, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a little bit better. I gained a couple pixels.
Yeah, it's got to be the internet a little bit, but hopefully it straightens out normally. But we can still hear you. So all right, so you've been in the business for about a year, right? Can you hear me? Okay.
1 year, 1 day.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. You did say that. So tell us a little about like what surprised you? What did you find interesting with the real estate business? What's your favorite part? All that good stuff. Because somebody new like you who's already into the groove, I think it's good to hear. We have some people on here that are probably thinking about it or been in for a short period of time. They would love to hear that from you.
Well, what hasn't been surprising and interesting? I think that's the question. Honestly, it's a whirlwind. I always considered getting the license and obtaining the license as making it to the starting line, rather than breaking onto the scene, ready to rumble and just rock and roll. So I kind of came this with the understanding that it was all going to be brand spanking new, regardless of all the hours that were put in on the test and the preparation. It was all just to get to the starting line, essentially. And so I don't know how much of it surprised me. I think just the amount of time that it takes to catch a gear, honestly, for me. I know that some people come in and they're able to gain traction immediately, and that's incredible. It's wonderful for them. Everybody has a different story. I had to really focus on not comparing through that first year, especially those first 6 months. It was just a lot of hustle, 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 day in, day out. I kind of put all my chips on the table going into this. I had all my eggs in the basket, and I made the decision ahead of time. This is going to work. I'm going to make this work. And so I made the commitment right off the bat to go full time with it so that I could get full time results. But just the realization that it takes just about everything in order to really catch a gear and to start moving along, making progress and having tangible results. Because you can work for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, and it's all planting seeds and it's watering the ground and fertilizing the soil. You don't necessarily see anything. You don't see the labor or the effort. You don't see results from your efforts and the labor until everything sprouts. And sometimes things don't sprout, and it takes a long time. So I think coming to terms with the fact that it is definitely a long game. And I knew that as well, but it was kind of a bit of a reality check as well, because I wanted to come in and I wanted to start closing deals begin 2 weeks in. I was ready. And at the same time, I look back on it and I don't think I was ready. I definitely took some time and just acted as a bit of a fly on the wall. I really wanted to absorb everything that I could so that I could be the most professional practitioner possible. But I think that it's all been interesting. That's a tough question, Rick. What do you think is the most interesting when you first got involved in all this? What did you find to be the most
Well,
out of left field?
I agree with you. You know, you have to get, so, okay, so look, I'll make a couple comments. Number one, I believe when you start the business the right way, like you did, like you said, planting seeds, it does take a little longer to, lay the foundation. But once the foundation sets, it goes fast. It's kind of like bamboo, the way bamboo builds,
Mm,
it's underground, 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 boom, it goes up 30 feet in
yeah.
like, a month, but you don't see it for a year or two, right? So it's kind of like that. And if you're
Hmm.
consistent with it, so I find like like you said,
Exactly.
I committed to it. I jumped in right away, and so I would say that when I started too, that's what surprised me. It took me a little while to get into gear, but once I got into gear, it really takes off well. And you always have to remember, you're a solo entrepreneur. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. I love that great line by Jay-Z. I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man. That's so true in real estate, isn't it?
Man,
Yeah.
yeah, truest. Truest. You got to beat the odds and show it getting even. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
feel like that's what I did too. I came in the game just with specific goals in mind, and I knew that I wanted to. Uh, I had significant challenges that came with the goals I had, and two of those goals were to pass the exam on my first try. I wanted to go in. I treated studying like a full time job ahead of taking the exam, but I wanted to go in there and I wanted to just ace it and move on. And then there were plenty of challenges that came with that. Actually, quick little story time. Then midnight before my test, which was up in Flagstaff, snowy, snowy Flagstaff. It never snows out in the Berube Valley. And every now and again it does. It's just a light dusting. At midnight, I took a step outside and I saw a single flake of snowfall. And I knew that I was going to wake up to a winter wonderland. Sure enough, I woke up to a winter wonderland. There are car crashes on the road, the highway closure on my route, my only route to get to Flagstaff in time. There was construction and jackhammering on the floor beneath the testing center. And so they gave us these big headphones to wear during the test. The expo markers didn't work. They didn't have an eraser for the ones that kind of half worked. So I was using the carpet to erase all my work so I could have actually the visual worksheet to go off of. I walk out the testing center to a ticket on my car because the snow had covered the handicapped sign, and then my car was dead.
Oh
And
my,
so I definitely overcame a lot of adversity just even to make it to the starting line, just to make it to the starting line,
that's incredible. But
which
you
is fun.
passed.
And I felt like that was preparation. This,
Yeah, that's definitely preparing you for it because it is the hurry up and wait game. You have to put, like you said, you got to put a lot. It's kind of like working out. You got to work out for a long time before you see results. You got to be planting seeds for a while before they grow and you get them. But that's the sales business. And
Mhm.
that's why a lot of people don't make it. So the fact that you are where you
Yeah.
are, already beaten the odds. 70% of people who start already aren't doing this by now. You're into it, you're doing well. So, what are some of the things that you do other than social media to
Thank you.
get business, Isaiah?
To get business, I really like open houses. Honestly, I love high impact open houses. Just putting work in ahead of time, whether it's moving around neighborhood, just building visibility. Um, I love connecting with people face to face. I feel like that's a strong suit, and I just really enjoy that and love it. And I feel like people respond well to it. So I've leaned into open houses a lot this past year, and also really just nurturing relationships. I feel like that's been a big thing. I pour into my relationships, and in turn, they pour back into me. And so it's this really beautiful cycle of it's a symbiotic thing, and it's also a sustainable practice from what I've experienced.
Yeah, building those
Just
relationships.
relationships, and it's so cliche, but relationships they create so much and value all just in my life. So
Right. No, the relationships are critical to the business, no doubt about it. And the way you do it, whether you're doing open houses and knocking the neighborhood and inviting them, or making just listed just sold calls, calling old expireds, however you get into conversation with people, and then you got to load them up in a VAC or some CRM and make sure they're getting drips from you. It's really about building a network, and having great conversations is the way you
yeah,
get there.
absolutely. And I found that just the face-to-face interactions are what opened the door for me to the relationships, to actually having depth in the relationships. And so it's very authentic, it's very organic, and there's growth as a result.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, so from your standpoint, okay, what would you say are the top three things? I want to get in this business. I want to be good. What would be the top three things you tell them to focus on?
I've got a couple cliches for you, but they're
All right.
cliche for a reason. It's to just always be your authentic self. That is always going to, it's paramount. Honestly, I have that at the top of the list. If you're not being your authentic self, people can tell, they feel it, it comes across as inauthentic, and nobody wants to deal with that. They don't want to question and wonder where you're being authentic or where you're not and who you really are. And so just by practicing authenticity in your daily life and in your relationships, that sets you up for success, in my opinion. And when I started to lean into my more authentic self, I started to see more results. And it might have been also a bit of a coincidence when it comes to timing, 6+ months of just repetition and hustle. But also around that point in time, I started to realize, people respond to me better than what I think they would like to see. And so all of a sudden, right around that time, deals started getting closed and relationships started growing. And so always be your authentic self. And number two, I would say pour into your relationships, because when you're being your authentic self, you're attracting the right people, and you're attracting those who you want to have relationships with, who you do enjoy spending time around, who you do want to work with, who want to work with you. And so by being your authentic self, you attract those right people, and you feel compelled to pour into other people. And at that point in time, you just do it for the sake of it being the right thing to do. And in turn, it comes back around, whether you call it karmic debt, or this, that. I mean, what goes around comes around. You get what you give. And they'll pour into other people, and they'll pour into you.
Yeah.
And then
Cool.
third, I'd say it's a little triple entendre. I'm pulling a little page from Mark's book, but get clarity, have faith in your vision, and then don't compare. The comparison is the thief of joy. And if you have clarity on what you want, it doesn't matter what's happening on either side of you, in the peripheral or in the rear view. It's all just about your route, your journey, what you're called to do, what is meant for you. And when you have faith that you're going to get there because you have clarity and you know what to say yes to, what to say no to, you don't need to compare. And if you were to compare, it would steal your joy. And you don't want that happening. You need joy. We need joy in this world, in this life. Life is too short. And so by maintaining kind of all three of those things and putting them together, I feel like that's the recipe. And it's not It's not that hard. It's really actually simple. That's one thing I found from going to these conventions and the events and spending time around some of the most significant figures in the business. The most professional and successful people really practice the most basic things.
Yeah,
It's way more simple and less complicated than a lot of us make it out.
it's so true. Like when I try to
By
people get,
focusing on the basics, we can go way further.
yeah, I have a lot of that in my coaching where people want me to do, okay, what else? What else? Well, are you talking to X amount of people a day? Well, no, but I know what else should I be doing? Well, until you do that and lay the foundation, okay, then you'll never experience this business as well as it can because you got to be
Mhm.
Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, all of them. Basics, 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 repetitive. Oh, and it's almost to the point where it becomes boring, but it doesn't if you add your personality to it.
Exactly. Quit worrying about sinking the half court 3-pointers and go hard in the paint.
I love it. I love it. All right, my man. Well, listen, I will tell you that you were a little pixelated, but your story came across. I understood everything. We'll have you back on soon because of it, so we can have you, so that everybody can see who you are. Because but we could hear you, and the message came across. I think it was extremely awesome too, Isaiah. So thanks for spending your time today. I really appreciate you taking your time out today. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rick. I'm sorry I was just a couple pixels, but I'm more than that, and you'll see.
I know you are. That's why I want to have you back soon. So, all right, my man, I really appreciate you. Keep it rocking. Paul, thank you. Everybody else, see you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Take it easy.